y'all please join us for the pledge? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor
I
and
pledge the flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
meeting will now come to order. We do have proof of posting in accordance with Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code as amended, also known as the Texas Meetings Act. Is that correct?
Yes.
Members of the public which would like to speak shall each have 3 minutes to address the court regarding matters that are not appearing on the agenda and are not an agenda item. Keep in mind, Commissioners Court may not deliberate or take any action on any item that is not posted. Any discussion must be limited to providing specific factual information. Are there any members of the public that would like to speak?
I would, Your Honor. My name is David Moore. I'm a former law enforcement officer and a practicing attorney in Limestone County, Texas. In recent times, it's come to light that Constable Kenneth Sessions of Freestone County has allegedly engaged in repeated acts of sexual harassment by, in one case, sending unsolicited explicit images over the internet, and in another case by being thrown out of a training session in Tyler, Texas in July for sexual harassment. I have copies of the pictures my client received from Sessions via phone. Sessions is currently charged in Limestone County, Texas with sending those pictures into JP Court, Precinct 4, Honorable Ray Jones presiding. I submitted an open records request to the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement about the training incident the week of July 20th. The response received from TCO on November 24th about that incident stated, quote, "Other than the complaint you submitted to TCO this morning, TCO has received no notice, information, or investigation into the incident you described," end quote. That was a lie. I have a copy of the redacted report filed on July 22nd, where Sessions was removed from the Tyler facility on July 21st, where it was determined that he was sexually harassing a female at that conference, and they wrote, quote, "Sessions made unwanted advances towards C, asking if she was married, ordering alcoholic drinks for her after she declined, and called and texted her multiple times after she had left." The investigator further wrote, quote, "Sessions' behavior and comments towards C's sister is what made her really upset and thought that he had crossed the line." Sessions was removed from the training conference, and arrangements were made for him to submit a one-paragraph summary of the DVDs they provided him instead of doing the mandated in-person training. I also filed a complaint with the Texas Workforce Commission against Sessions for sexually harassing my client by sending the penis pictures that have now made their way on the social media. I have a complete text change between Sessions and my client, who happens to be a former survivor of a rape. She's not pleased with Sessions' behavior. This behavior is not only unprofessional and deeply unethical for Sessions, but it violates the trust and safety of the community that Constable Sessions is sworn to protect and serve. It certainly does not uphold the motto that TCO so proudly displays on their correspondence to establish and enforce standards to ensure that the people of Texas are served by highly trained and ethical law enforcement. By sending unsolicited images and sexually harassing an attendee at a training session, Sessions has crossed a line. It signifies a grave misuse of power and a complete disregard for professional boundaries. The residents of Freestone County deserve a leader who respects and upholds the dignity of every individual, that fosters a safe and respectful environment for all of us. To address this matter, I call upon Sessions to voluntarily resign. His actions undermine public trust and bring disrespect to the office he holds. If he doesn't resign, as leaders of this community, you can file a petition to remove him in the district court upstairs. It's assigned to the administrative judge, who will then decide whether the merit exists to proceed to remove him from office. By doing so, you take a stand against misconduct and support the call for just and ethical leadership in Limestone County law enforcement. Your actions can help drive positive change and hold a public official to account for his actions.
Are there any other public comments? Yes, sir.
What would you guys like to be in right here? Come on up here. I just wanted to introduce, I spoke to some of you guys before at conferences and stuff. I'm with Eric Christian with Advanced Drainage Systems. I just wanted to just make you guys aware of our polypropylene storm drainage pipe. The counties around here, they have adopted this product, the use of this product as an alternate to our high-density polyethylene pipe. This is polypropylene pipe. It's a gray corrugated pipe in lieu of our black corrugated storm drainage pipe. The advantage is that you got 100-year service life on this product. You've got 20-foot, 30-foot joints, watertight standard belt on our 20-foot joints. With this product, you get roughly twice the pipe stiffness of our high-density polyethylene, the black pipe. And so this is a good alternative to corrugated metal. This is with corrosive soles like you'll have here, where we leave the bottom out on those. And so with our polypropylene, I just wanted to introduce this to you guys. I might have talked to you guys on this before, some of the conferences, and then I was going to drop off mine and my constituent, my Todd and his business cards. And so that's it. That was my rundown, guys.
Is it cheaper?
It is. It's roughly, in East Texas, as far as corrugated metal, you're talking 15% is what we're looking at on as far as price. And so I know on tight budgets, this is, we're producing this stuff in Ennis, Texas, so it's readily available. We can deliver straight to you guys, you know, typically 6 to 8 day lead times. Freight costs are low considering we're right there. So we're talking about, as far as running tight budgets in a county, it's a helpful deal. That's the reason that we're seeing usage. So.
You keep quite a bit of it in stock?
We do, yes sir, yes sir. We've got hundreds of thousands of feet there in Ennis, Texas. And then I've got typically with a county, it will run through distribution. So the area that you're in, I've got distribution all around you. And so they can help us keep you guys fixed up on that. It's a product, I don't know if you guys take advantage of an annual bid on your road materials, but that's an option that we have. We can lock you guys in. As far as budgets go, you can set your budget and we can lock that price in for 12 months. So then, you can work your budget off that per foot price, and then we'll hold you for that for your entire, whatever your fiscal year is. So that's it, guys. That's my rundown. I appreciate the time. I've got some literature in our cards here that I'll leave, or I can leave them back here. So I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Any other public comments? Not, which item is it?
Judge, if we could go down to item number 7, applications and plat and replats. I have a replat in Southern Oaks, and it's combining 3 lots into 1, and we have, all the paperwork has been completed, and Renee and I have looked over it. All we have to do is approve it, and then they will take it and take the tax, show the tax has been paid over to her office, and I think let's look at this. I'd make a motion we approve the replat of the lots, 3 lots into 1 in Southern Oaks.
For the record, we're going to skip from item number 1 down to item number 7 for this replat. I have a motion to approve the replat. Do I have a second?
I second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, aye? Aye. Motion carried.
That's also road use and all that other stuff too.
We'll come back to the rest of number 7. While we're signing that, we'll now go to item number 1 to approve the minutes from the December 3rd, 2025 regular meeting.
out. But you was just looking at it?
It's all of them the same, they just got,
If it wants black for the sign, it's good.
I don't think it's sign all the way in.
Okay, good.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, sir. Thank you. Approving the minutes, right?
Correct. I'll make a motion we approve the minutes December 3rd, 2025 regular meeting. Second.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor, aye? Motion carried. Item number 2 will be budget transfers and amendments.
Make a motion to accept the budget transfers and amendments.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor, aye? Motion carried. Item number 3 will be approved and pay bills. Do have 3 sets of bills today.
Lloyd, we have to start the page
Good, eh?
of additional income.
Oh, yeah, we need to change that motion.
Yeah, that motion on item number 2 should be to approve the certification, accept a $100 donation from Janet Sue Hope.
It's here, it's, Louis, if you'll go down, if we did 12 first, well, it needed to be done first. I'm sorry, before we did the, right. To approve that and then,
Okay.
So we need a motion to accept the $100 bill from Janet C. Hope. Is that what you're saying?
Means we'd have to go to item number 12. I need a motion to accept a $100 donation from Janet Sue Hope, which went to senior services.
I'll make a motion.
I second.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor, aye? Motion carried. Go back to item number 2 on budget transfers and amendments. We already have a motion to accept the transfers and amendments. Can we get an additional motion to to take receipt of these additional revenues, this $100 from Janet Sue Hope?
Yeah, I make a motion to accept the certification of the $100 donation.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor, aye? Now we'll go to item number 3, approve and pay bills.
make a motion to approve the bills. If y'all could look.
Second.
Have a motion to second, all in favor, aye. Motion carried. Item number 4, approve the payroll.
I'll make a motion to approve the payroll.
Second.
Have a motion to second, all in favor, aye. Motion carried. Item number 5, the reports. We do have a report from the county clerk's office. Have a report from our Justice of the Peace Precinct 1. Report from Justice of the Peace Precinct 3. I'd like to point out a report also from Senior Services and their Christmas lunch for Senior Center will be held on December the 17th this year. Any other reports?
Yes, sorry, standing in the back. I have the extension, just annual report, just rundown of all the programming that I've done this past year. Whether it's been ag in the classroom, the beef and forage committee, and small acreage and land order. So that's just pretty much, in a nutshell, 3 different reports of everything that was accomplished this past year. So just wanted to hand that to you.
Thank you very
guys.
much. Have a motion to accept the reports.
I'll make that motion.
There's one more report, from Constable JP2, or Constable 2, Precinct 2, that you can see. There's one for everybody.
Very good. So in addition to the reports that I listed earlier, again, we also have a report from Freestone County Constable Precinct 2. Motion to accept the report.
I'll make a motion.
Motion and second, all in favor, aye. Motion carried. Item number 6, burn ban. No action. Item number 7, special road use agreements, contract permits, bonds. Application for plats, replats, which we have done one of those this morning. Do we have any special road use agreements?
We tabled one last
We
time.
tabled one last time for,
496, the number,
I haven't heard anything from them.
no, ain't heard a word.
item number 7 was previously,
Just talking about replat.
Who was that on, Spectrum? Is that who that was?
It was on 490,
Yeah, but
496.
the company, was it Spectrum? Is that who it was?
I think you're right.
and in the minutes of the previous meeting, it showed that it was addressed precinct 1 and 3.
Right,
I ain't heard nothing from them.
and it,
So nothing additional on item number 7.
Okay.
Move to item number 8, approve bonds and education certificates for county officials and employees. I don't have anything there. It is, I do have a report. Jake Fitch, Constable Precinct 2, has successfully completed the cognitive and skill evaluations in accordance with the curriculum of the American Heart Association Heart Saver Adult CPR AED program. Separate that from the report. Any other other bonds or education certificates.
Make motion to approve.
I second.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor, aye? Aye. Motion carried. Item number 8 will be to, I'm sorry, item number 9 will be to, the public hearing on a proposed tax abatement agreement between Freestone County and the C1 Freestone 1 LLC. Victor?
Judge, Commissioners, this again is what we talked about last time we did the reinvestment zone. It's a data center. The initial investment will be $600 million in just the real property improvements. Those could go up to over $2 billion over time, the real property improvements, depending on how many phases they have. Like I said last time, the real money is in the investment by the tenants in the personal property improvements, which is all the computer equipment, all the chips, all that stuff, and that can be in the billions of dollars. The agreement would be a 50-50 split on tax revenues for the first 10 years. 50% is a great rate compared to what other counties have negotiated. It would, this particular agreement with the real property improvement would be $850,000 a year in pilots. Now that, when you get into the agreements with the tenants, when they come in, that will be significantly more money, because you're talking in the billions at that point. And then overall, I think we discussed last time the water issues. This is a enclosed loop water system. They fill it up once, and then that water is reused over and over again. So they're not the only water they'll actually be taking on a consistent basis would be domestic water for their employees, which is, I forget how much it wasn't very much.
The proposal stated 1,150 gallons per day.
1150 is what they clarified on.
Yeah, so,
I think we have to keep in mind also, Mr. Dixon, that 1,150 gallons a day is pretty much equivalent to 4 households with a family of 4. So it's not a big demand. And then another thing is that this court does not decide who gets rights to water usage. We do have a water conservation district that our county is a part of. Therefore, last time they said that they would want to drill their own water well, which again, this does not authorize that. So there is an entity that has oversight on that is not this court.
right. You know, they will bring jobs.
How many estimated after
think-
construction?
After construction, we'll have to ask the tenants about that. Before construction, I think, what was it, 40?
Yeah, minimum of 40, with
Minimum of
55,000.
Of full-time jobs. Now, construction jobs are gonna be hundreds, you know,
Sure.
because this is gonna be a big thing to build. But for them, just doing the real property, as far as people full-time there, it'll create like about 50 jobs, and they'll continue to be kind of maintenance and stuff over time for the facility. Now, when the personal property owners come in, that's where the jobs could really pick up, because of operators and people that are having to troubleshoot and keep all the computers going and all that stuff, and they're good paying jobs. The other issues I think we discussed, maybe
Noise was an issue or a concern of ours.
Noise is de minimis. these days compared to early data centers. That was probably a problem. Noise has been reduced as an issue. It's low level, probably would not affect many people as far as where they're at. I don't know how close structures are, but if you're a mile away from that structure, I don't know if you'll hear anything. If you do, it won't be much more than a hum once in a while.
Is there any data on that?
Yeah, I've seen data. Now, I know that they've probably seen data, but I've seen data that says that it's at your property boundary. You're probably looking at, I forget the number of decibels, but it's not, it's like a normal, if somebody was having a normal conversation outside their house or something.
Right, but is there something that we can look at?
Yeah, on that, let me add some context. So, the only things that make noise at the data center are the chillers, right? So those chillers, they're outfitted with low ambient fans, low ambient compressors, and the generators. The generators typically run, once a month for testing, and only if there's a utility outage. And they have sound attenuated mufflers, but they're diesel generators, so they do generate some noise. We're typically in the range of 45 to 50 dB at the property line. So we could absolutely share that information with you guys. We do a sound study for every project we develop.
I think we would love to see that. I mean, we can tell our people that ask us questions what you're saying, but it would be nice to be able to show them some kind of data that you have research done on that.
Yeah.
'Cause that's one of our big problems is going to be the noise.
So
So we would love to be able to
Yeah,
show them
and
something.
we made another design change too. So traditionally, a lot of data centers would put chillers on the roof of the data centers. This design actually puts the chillers on the ground, so they're kind of shielded from, by the buildings that they're getting installed. So we can absolutely share that with you guys, so you guys have the data. But we spent a lot of time to mitigate any kind of noise to the surrounding area.
45 decibels is fairly low.
It's almost half of the.
I don't know, what is it, language, so what does that come,
45 dB is like a library,
Just like a what now?
like a library.
I mean, 45 dB is less than a conversation. Our conversation right now is probably 65 decibels. I mean, if you were that close.
Right.
How many more lights and things and traffic on that road is it gonna cause?
So during construction, there'll be some traffic on that road.
Some traffic or a lot of traffic?
A lot of traffic.
In comparison to what it is right now, a lot of traffic. So we're working with Calpine and a logistics plan on how we're going to manage traffic to the site.
Because there's already a lot of traffic on that road without.
When Calpine was building the other unit, that's the road I live on, and at 5 o'clock in the morning, it was something. And I think what they did was rotate the shift, have them come 30 minutes later,
Yeah.
and it seemed to help.
So we could absolutely work on that. The other thing we've actually explored is getting some property right off of 45, where we could have the majority of the workers park there, and then just bust the staff in. So we're still working through those details, but that seems, from my desk, it seems like the best way for us to manage this. We're doing a similar project in Boston County right now, which is pretty much the same distance from 35 as this is to 45. So getting some kind of staging area right off the interstate, and then, minimizing the traffic going to the site.
How much more light are y'all gonna put in the sky? Is there gonna be a lot of lights around this place? Is there gonna be security? I mean, I have no idea what it is. But the reason I'm asking is I have a lot of constituents that live at the lake. They're all retired and they don't want that area disturbed. So you're not that far away, but they're gonna ask me all these questions, and I've only heard one side, and that's yours. That's why I'm asking questions. How much more light's gonna be in the sky and all those kind of things.
So all the lighting is designed as down lighting, so there's nothing pointing up in the sky, number one. And then everything is skirted to the property line. So there is security, and there's lights for security for the operations staff that's there, and the site is fenced. the site will ultimately be fenced. But light pollution is important for us, especially these jurisdictions. And the other thing we could do, and we've done this in Bosque, is we pretty much have a monthly meeting with the county to talk about progress, status, if there's any issues or complaints or concerns. We're here to be transparent and work with you guys to make sure your constituents are happy.
So on the noise we were just talking about, those decibels, that low level frequency that a lot of people don't hear that some people do, you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
So part of that study that you're saying, does that include that?
They'll do it by frequency. The study is done by frequency. So we can share a sample one of one we've done, so you guys can see what it looks like, and then one that we'll do for this one.
Yeah, I think we would love to see more, something in front of us, that way.
Okay.
When people call us and talk to us about this, we're not dumbfounded, we know more about what we've read than, from data, your reports and that kind of stuff.
I mean, there's a lot of news out on data centers. I've been in this industry for 30 years, and until about 2 years ago, nobody knew what one was. So, but to put it in context, I mean, we have facilities in kind of metropolitan areas, suburban areas, where our data center backs up to the backyards of neighbors, where we have zero complaints. Just to put it in context of what we're talking about.
One other thing that I've been asked is how much electricity are y'all gonna use?
We use a lot of electricity.
Okay, so what's that gonna do to the grid in Texas? And in our area, say that your place out there is running, but people around here don't have any heat in their house, so.
Yep.
It's
So.
gonna be hard for me to explain as a commissioner.
Oh, I got a great, this is a great story. So, data centers use a lot of electricity. I mean, watts per square foot in comparison is significant. The agreement we have with Calpine and with ERCOT, during any EA2 event in the state, we actually turn the data center, take the data center off of the grid. And all the power from that plant that's there goes back to the grid. So we more or less curtail our load when the grid needs the capacity. And this has been a big part of the SB6 bill that ERCOT's been working on with the PUCT, and that's the agreement we have with Calpine.
And these new plants, they were built for this project, to support these projects, the new units, is that correct?
The peaker plant is not to support
Okay.
this project.
Okay.
That peaker plant is completely separate from this project. What this project is really leveraging is the existing plant that's been there just for about 20 years, right?
Yeah.
So what that does is we're leveraging the plant that's there, the infrastructure that's already built into there. But yeah, it's an important piece as we talk about utility usage. So that's the agreement we have with ERCOT. So if at any time that the grid needs that capacity, and these are all defined terms with ERCOT, EA1, EA2, EA3, the data center will actually pull off and all that capacity goes back to the grid.
When you bring that data, could you bring us something saying what y'all do, that you actually take it off the grid?
Yeah.
Could you provide that information to us? So
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And once SB6 is finalized, more or less, whatever the terms that come out of that, it'll be mandated.
It's a mandate to you.
Yeah.
So one more thing on the water. I think Lloyd said that, we have a committee about the water stuff. Have y'all contacted them to?
So, I haven't yet, but after our last meeting on December 3rd, I did speak to our folks at Calpine. We actually may just go into an agreement with Calpine to use the water that they already have allocated to that plant. So we'll get some more details. If we have to drill a well, we'll obviously go through the water conservation process. But after this meeting, I actually talked to the folks over at Calpine, and I think we're gonna work on an arrangement with them to.
If you could let us know that arrangement as soon as, because I mean, that could be a bearing factor on what the community thinks about the water.
Yeah, and like the judge said, I mean, so it is a closed loop cooling system, so we fill it one time. In comparison, it's like filling a swimming pool, 20 to 30,000 gallons, we fill it once. And then the site is, I mean, whatever irrigation we have, toilets, sinks, there's no waste product that comes out of a data center. And And on the jobs, I mean, we talked about 40. 40 is the minimum, right, that we would provide. The customer will also bring some, but, you know, these sites are operated 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So every person that we have really actually equals 6 people, right? So to run that shift 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that's security, that's technical staff to operate the facility, and then the customer brings some, you know, more technical folks to work on the servers and equipment like that.
Of course, this being new, relatively new, there's no magic ball. What's the economic life? I mean, technology could change tomorrow and you can flip the switch off and walk away.
So we've been doing this for a long time at Cyrus One. These are 30-year assets that we built, right? So the assets are 30 years, 30-year life minimum. We have assets right now in the fleet that are older than that. What does change inside is the technology, right? So it'd be no different than, you know, upgrading a tube television in your house to a flat panel television, right? So the technology inside that thing will change pretty rapidly compared to the building. That's in the 3 to 5 year kind of time frame that will refresh all of that equipment. But the data center, right, the data centers provide in power and cooling and security. So no matter what happens to the changes in those servers, that building is still providing the same service for the technology.
And your company would be, is the one that designs and builds the buildings. And then the hyperscaler comes in, they're the ones that are going to put the servers, the chips, and all that.
So we're the developer, so we own the building, we design the building, engineer, design, and operate that building. And then we lease that capacity to hyperscalers. So we lease that capacity and they bring the technology into the building.
And John, usually there's usually just one tenant per building, not always, but usually one tenant per building.
In most cases, this would be one tenant per building. So, I mean, we want to be completely transparent with you guys and the community. If there's any questions, if we want to have monthly meetings, like, we're happy to do it, and keep you guys updated on what we're doing. We'll share the sound study, plans for the water. We're excited to be here. I think it'd be great for the county. You know, I live in Fort Worth. I got land in Jack County. It's a lot of tax revenue, and we will be good neighbors. We're not solar developers. We're not wind developers. These are long-term assets. We take pride in what we build and what we operate.
And then just one more point on the revenue. This is correct about the 50% exemption for 10 years for this project, but for your school district, there's no exemption. Fully taxed, $2 billion of value, most likely at least. Full tax rate forever. Same thing for the city, or there's no city here. Same thing for the special, you know, the other big. Really, the school tax is a big thing. So,
School and hospital in addition to the county.
They will get full taxation, and after the 10 years, this will be fully taxable. And one thing that was said was the refresh. The personal property that's in the facility will actually retain its value pretty much, because when it's about to become obsolete, they refresh it. And so they'll be putting more investment in every 4 or 5 years.
Unlike the solar deals that are in the works, they got a mandated accelerated depreciation. We can't do this 80% in 10 years.
Like we talked last time about when it is upgraded, say in 5 years, 6 years, we don't start over.
No. No, we'll bake that into the calculation some way.
I was just saying, I don't agree with a 10-year if
If we're
in
gonna
five,
change it every 5.
it's of more value. So as long as we know that if that
We'll have
value
something in
raises
there that
above.
says as the value
Okay, we
goes
talked
up,
about
there's
this
a
later.
proportionate increase to the pilot.
And on the, when you told us the $850,000 per year for 10 years for the pilot, but if we were looking at $600 million real property, if we did, 0.3555 cents per hundred on that with a 50% valuation, that comes out to a little over 1 million. So
Yeah,
I'm
but
curious
that's
the difference,
not-
that 150,000.
There's, that is not accounting for depreciation. So the building depreciates every year. This is different than the personal property because the building
Right.
does have a depreciation
Right.
schedule.
Okay.
So that calculation includes depreciation. So that's why it's different than if you just ran it
Okay.
straight.
Yeah,
That's
so
just
do
wanted
it.
to clarify.
At standard depreciation rate.
Right.
On the building, the personal property could go up with the data being upgraded to as the,
Every 5 years.
every 5 years. I mean, whatever the personal property is, I mean, as data gets used and new data comes in, it could possibly go up.
The building value?
No, personal property.
Personal
Personal
can change,
property
that's what we
value
were
will
talking
go.
about.
Will go up with the new data that comes in.
Yeah, I mean, there'll be depreciation, but then that depreciation will be offset by the refresh.
Got it.
So,
What kind of depreciation is there on that type of equipment compared to a structure building?
7
curious if it's
years,
changed.
5 to 7 years.
Okay.
So if it's replaced before that, then there's really, it washes out.
Yeah.
So to give some kind of figure, when this data center is, if it's up and running in full capacity, what kind of tax revenue is Freestone County looking at?
I can't guesstimate it right now because I don't know how much investment the personal property is gonna be. But you can bet that it's gonna be 2 or 3 times at least the real property investment at the very least.
You want to try to address that a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, so on the improvement side, you're kind of fixed at the pilot payment, which is $850,000 a year. On the tangible personal side, the tenant's property, what do you, what do you think that's gonna be generally, John?
Like total spend?
Yeah, total,
Yeah, I mean, total spend on that could probably be upwards of $3 to $4 billion.
okay, so let's just say three billion. So, and let's say that number's gonna go, they'll start at 3, it'll go down a little bit with depreciation, it'll go up above 3 billion because of the newer cost of the new product. And go, let's just say it stays at 3 billion. So, it's gonna be 3 billion times the point, I needed the 0.335 or 355, I can't remember what it is. Yeah, so it's gonna be that amount. And then they're gonna negotiate with you some pilot payment. If they do the same thing here, we did, it'd be 50%, so,
Which we use the same, I think, in the same reinvestment.
So I think
we
you're-
use the same percentage.
I think you're probably talking 3 million, a year. It's a lot, And that's just the county and the school district. What is the school district's tax rate? I don't know if anyone knows about it. Usually around 1.2 to 1.5%, 1.5%.
Fairfield ISD is lower than.
119.
No, it's.
I was listening to Dawn. Even though when I did, got to overlook that the other
We
day.
did, but we looked at everybody else's too, man. Buffalo ISD was the highest, plus the.
I mean, if you just do the 1%, assuming it might be a little lower than that, but you take 2 billion times 1%, it's, that's $20 million, a lot, so.
What, how much you say?
For the school district.
20 million. If it's 1%.
Because none of that can be abated, none of that can be exempted.
$3 billion at our tax rate would be $10,665,000 with a 50% abatement would be $5,332,500
Yeah, that's
per year to the county if it did stay flat. And again, that would not.
And that's in
affect
addition, that's in
anyone's-
addition to the, so that's
That's
just.
in addition to the $850,000.
And that 850,000 can go up as new phases come on. So we've set up the agreement so they can
that's
bring
for-
more phases.
One,
That's for the 290,
I think on the phase,
290,000
290,000 square feet.
square feet,
yeah,
but this is like phase one.
correct.
And if they decide to do a phase two, then we've already got set up under the agreement that they're subject to the same terms. And what they have to do, provide us for that phase and all that stuff. So it could generate into more, but just if it just stays at phase one, it's still a pretty good chunk.
Okay, phase two, so they come down in 5 years and add a phase two. We've got this reinvestment zone, this agreement in place. What's the timeline on going forward on the new phase? How does that work into things? Does it start over another 10,
Yeah.
or do we have the ability to renegotiate? I mean, what?
No,
what-
it
how-
starts over another 10-year abatement period. And there may even be stages within a phase. For example, if they put in so much personal property, $1 billion worth of personal property in year one, they might want to start their tax abatement there even though they're not through yet. And instead of having to pay full tax rate on that thing. So, they may take a year where
They're building
they're building it, but that will use up a year off their tax abatement period.
Before they max out
Yeah.
in this phase.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then just one little feature on that, I think, even though we're not committed to doing it, the current plans are to do 3 data centers in the first phase, not 2.
Okay.
And then the other thing is, the way, I think the reinvestment zone has a term of 5 years, doesn't it?
Right.
Okay, so if for some reason, and I work with them and they're an impressive company, so this is not gonna happen, but if they were to do a phase that started after the end of the reinvestment zone, even though the abatement agreement is still in effect, I think that if you don't restart the reinvestment zone, I don't think they can do it, so it would give you a chance to make sure that they're doing.
Because things change.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you would have a chance to renegotiate that for any phase that starts after the 5th year of this agreement.
Okay.
Actually, it's after the 5th year, I think you formed it on December 3rd, so it's 5th year after December 3rd of 2025.
Anybody else got any questions?
I haven't had but just a few phone calls of concerns, and we addressed those today. And after the first call I got was about the noise, and looking at the decibel levels, and looking at how that noise carries for up to 2 miles, there was quite a bit of data on there. Of course, it doesn't stay the same as if you're standing next to the plant. It fades and it lessens. What I found is that if you live in a house and you choose to have central air and heat or a window unit, if you have ceiling fans, if you have a refrigerator that runs, you have a freezer, these are all putting off noises that we may not hear, and they're actually louder, and you're living with that. But nobody buys a meter and checks this, So you actually are, if it is bad for your health, you're putting your health more at risk living in your own home than you would be living in a tent 2 miles from a data center. So,
Yeah,
that's out. You can definitely go see that, and I call that person back and I'll let them know and encourage them to go look at it. I just know we've seen in other counties, we see a lot of things get blown out of proportion, and it's typically noise, water, and light.
Yeah. So, I mean, we have been, like, we've been developing in Texas for 25 years, and across the country. So we know a lot. I mean, I know a lot. I've sat in a lot of, rooms like this talking about this stuff. I mean, the direction of the wind could affect the noise, right? The humidity could affect the noise.
And we're all trying to get educated on this for the people.
And we want to share everything we know. We're implementing best practices here to mitigate all this stuff. Because we have a lot of experience doing it, right? And we've had some sites where, we've gotten noise complaints even though we were in compliance, right? And those are in the press, and you could look them up. And the company stepped up and went above and beyond to mitigate those issues, even though we were in compliance. And in a situation like this, there's no set standard, right? We know what good looks like. We'll share the information with you guys, so you guys can share it with your constituents, just to make sure everybody's feeling good about it. And listen, I understand we're here asking for something, but we're also going to bring a lot to this community, right? We just finished a job fair in Bosque there at the high school. Our contractors, they hired 6 guys right on site, 6 people on site to start working for the construction company, and extended a bunch of other interviews for a bunch of folks. So.
We've got noise complaints in the county right now off of electric motors at a pump station for a pipeline, which that didn't come to the court. Again, it's not our jurisdiction. It's private property, and it becomes a civil issue when that noise affects somebody else. So I just remind everybody that this court, what we can and cannot allow in this instance is 2 things. That's a reinvestment zone and an abatement. Because again, we don't dictate who uses water and who gets how much and how they get it. And we don't interfere with private property rights. We don't have that right.
Probably this time, if there's nothing else, we need to open it up to the public comments.
So if there's no more discussion on item number 9. Time
9:56.
in the public hearing, 9:56.
What time did we officially open it?
9:24.
Nobody else has anything, anybody else have anything to say?
We didn't ask if anybody else.
Yes. We didn't ask the public, who's up here?
Is there anybody else here to speak on this topic? Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. I'm really concerned about the water loop.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm like you. I know we don't have control over that, private property rights. And I also know that, I'm glad to hear about the water loop. And I was glad when you spoke on it on December 3rd. And Jeff, you probably know more about water loops than anyone.
Yeah.
I don't know the terms of the abatement except what we've heard here. I would hope that you would stick with your word on the water loop, because I know when you're out there and you're making a business decision, you're either going to do it or am I going to save more money by not doing it?
So,
I would really like to see in the abatement some kind of clause, whether we give them a little more for having a water loop, because I think that is so important. Our water here, we have a lot of people come in here trying to get our water because of where we're located on the aquifer. So if there is any way we could have something in that tax abatement agreement saying, okay, if you do a water loop, we'll give you another, I don't know, a year or 2 on your abatement. Because I think it's so important.
We're done giving
In my opinion.
Yeah, so let me
Reality is,
let me address this.
it's more costly. for them to buy
Every
water.
data center we've developed in the past 15 years
Mhm.
uses a chilled water loop, a closed water loop. The chillers that we're gonna use here, we've already bought them. Like, there's no business decision that's gonna change that. We have always, I mean, it's all over our website, like, we have data centers that actually are net zero positive, like water positive. So we don't use water. Like, we don't develop with water, we don't use it for cooling. I can promise you that, like, that is not gonna change, and, we're not gonna, I mean, we just don't use water. And it's, like I said, it's all over our website, it's been one of the things we've been championing for years. Because we have developed in places like Texas and Arizona, where not only is it a water constraint, for water, but when you use water to cool a data center, there's actually a lot of wastewater you have to deal with too.
Right, that was gonna be my next question, because I know y'all can have regulation about that wastewater, because y'all do sewage here.
So
And
that's,
so
so
that
we
was
won't
my
have
next
any of that, so we
question.
won't have that.
Okay,
Like, we don't develop that way, it's not how we develop. Any one of our data centers, I mean, across the US, there's like probably 55 locations. You can look at all those sites on Google Earth, and they are all air-cooled chillers, which means they're closed-loop cooling. So I promise you that that's what's gonna go in there. They don't have to give us any more money or any more time, but that's what we're gonna do.
I will say this, I think also the information is not, and it is in the application for abatement on the water use, so I think we have made representation.
Yeah, it's in, that was one of our initial concerns
Okay.
about the amount.
They did put it
And
in
it was stated wrong the first time, and we got it clarified that it was, you know, like 1150. That's what I remember.
At the time, it said we would use 1150 per minute, which is, that's
Yes,
well.
it was.
Yeah, it was way off, and so we just said, wait a minute, and then they come out as 11 per
Okay.
day.
all right,
So I think we are, yeah.
okay, which that was my concern.
Thank you, maybe just talk about our rental business. I don't know what Calpine's doing on all, but they certainly got a straw in the lake, and they pull water from the lake. That agreement was made many years ago, so they probably got enough reserves to handle that. I like the dark sky country stuff. That's important to everybody to get that done, so appreciate that. And handling that sound, I'm one of those folks that can hear that low humming, and then from time to time, even where I live, I know I can hear it. You think crazy that you hear that stuff, but it's good to address that. And it looks to me like they're trying to do all that. I don't know them at all, but I think that looks like we got a pretty good project for our county that's gonna help us all out. I know Brad wants it in his.
Sorry,
You want that in your district, don't you?
I'll fight you.
I said, you want that in your district, don't you want that money? I know you want that money. But,
I got one project going in my district, so I don't need another one right now.
but it sounds like a good deal, and I really appreciate y'all looking into this. It's important for us when we lost the big plant, you know, that's hard to get over still. I mean, it's been a couple of years, but it's still tough for us. So.
Judge, I've been running the decibel level ever since y'all been talking about the noise. It's average around 60 decibels right now. And when y'all start laughing, it goes up to about 75. And the max in here a while ago went up to 84. So, but the average is around 50 to 60 decibels just in this room.
We're lucky the EPA didn't come in here.
Just give you all noise.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, because I don't have a
That's
clue,
what
you know, what a
50
decibel.
dB is just regular talking.
Mike, can we assume, going back to Ms. Ogilvy's question and concern with the water, that because of what's in the application for the tax abatement, should the company violate anything that they said, would that create an automatic breach?
breach of the abatement contract? Or could that be put in?
If I remember right, we
I think
did
they're putting it-
incorporate the application into the agreement, or we speak to the application. Yeah, we, you know, they've made a promise in writing, and if they were to breach that promise, then we could review whether we want to go forward with the abatement or not any further. But in reality, I think it would be more costly for them and harder for them to get outside water. I don't know that it would save them any money. It would probably cost them some money.
Got a question, Judge.
Yes, sir.
My concern is not with the building and the project. My concern is with the electronic chip making itself, because silver prices went up to 65 yesterday. They're going toward 100. Mexico just signed a contract with Samsung for all their silver mining. So where does that leave the data center itself for making the chips? Are they going to go out of business? Are they going to transfer overseas?
The data center purchases the chips, is that correct?
That's right. Yeah, we don't manufacture anything there. They're just buying those chips and putting them inside that building.
Well, what do y'all do then?
So all the companies like NVIDIA and AMD and all the chip manufacturers that actually make those chips, they get put into servers. Our customer buys those servers.
So y'all build servers?
We don't build anything over there.
Well, what do y'all keep in the building?
Servers that are actually built somewhere else.
When
Well, what do y'all do
when
with
you
the
just
server?
when you just gave us the DVs on your phone,
Uh-huh,
the way that was done was that the computer
uh-huh.
got that information for all processing in a data center somewhere. That's how it's done. It's serving your technology. It's not creating. It's not manufacturing anything. It's running data.
Okay, it's just a data run. So what kind of data do y'all keep there? Is it government data?
Whatever, it's like, the tenant will be someone, I don't know who it is on this project, it'll be someone like Google or Microsoft or OpenAI, it'll be something like that.
Be some kind of
Whatever they use,
technology?
it's, you know, it's,
Yeah.
whatever they use for their, you know, to do their.
Now, these jobs that you say you're creating out there, are they gonna be jobs you have to go to a technical school, like a technical school to do, or is it gonna have to be a college educated, or is it just gonna be somebody out of high school?
So they're not college educated. They don't have to be college educated jobs. So the spectrum of jobs that happen there, I mean, there's security staff. So security's there 24 hours a day. They're not armed in most cases.
No, I'm talking about the
Yeah,
data center itself.
So that's security staff. There's shipping and receiving staff, right? So the staff that actually takes all the stuff into the building. Then there's operations staff. That operations staff is taking care of all the electrical systems and all the mechanical systems. So trade school is important in a case like that, but we also train folks ourselves. And then the people who actually work on the servers, none of these are college required kind of jobs. It's really
Technical.
It's technical from that perspective.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
It's very important to weigh out what's best for the county. You know, we look at a project like this and, of course, the revenue which would come in and not affect the no new revenue tax rate, but it creates that opportunity for our taxes to go down over time, gradually. Where there's no shock value in up or down, allows us to do a lot of good things for this county and the resources of the county. And that being said, we look at what are the negatives, and I think we did address the noise today. I think it was proven by Mr. Tice, and I think that we addressed the water and the lighting. One of the questions that I had got that you did answer a while ago was, would there be, would part of y'all's power be coming from any solar? And you said that y'all were not doing any solar.
Yeah, so, so the data center will use the grid capacity when the plant's not running, theoretically. So whatever the mix is on the grid, but it's no direct solar.
Right, you're not putting in
We're
a
not
solar
putting in
farm
any
on the
solar
facility.
or wind, right. And like I said, Judge, I mean, we are happy to kind of host like a monthly meeting.
Sure.
While we're in construction, because there's gonna be traffic, and we wanna hear from you, like, I get calls, right, directly to me, like, oh, listen, you tore up a bar ditch, or this is broken, like,
You know, Calpine worked with us great, and we got with text, but, you know, they did their schedule to make sure they wasn't affecting school bus traffic, and people personally driving their kids to school and getting back home and stuff like that. So those early 5 a.m. mornings when Mr. Connors had been up for 2 hours, out there monitoring the traffic.
Yeah,
That was all by design, and it was, you know, it was to help make things safer.
yeah. And once we're in operation, I mean, if there's an issue or a complaint, and like, somebody does see light, and it's, you know, disturbing the peace, like, we want to, like, we'll fix it. So, that's, we're here to be a good neighbor.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public while we are in the public hearing? If not, we'll close the public hearing
At 10:10.
10:10. Would the court mind if we went ahead and went through the rest of the agenda and skip over item number 10, and maybe take a recess before we address that?
It doesn't matter, are we ready to address that, or we?
I'd like to go make one phone call before we do, but I think we could go ahead and
Take a break,
go through the rest of the agenda and then take a break, or we can take one right now.
whatever you're gonna do.
Whatever y'all want. I thought we was on number 13.
Got it?
Or, actually, I'm sorry, number 11.
Okay.
Mandy, would you like to tell us more about that?
Yes, I have here today Richard, which is our Texas County and District Retirement Systems representative. He's put together a packet for y'all to talk about our COLA adjustment. We are due for our adjustments for plan documents to start our new year in January 2026. This is Richard. Welcome to our report. He's going to kind of break it down for y'all so y'all see like a good scale of where we're at and what we're looking at.
Hi, good morning. My name is Richard Ashcroft. I'm Employee Services rep for TCDRS. Judge Commissioners, thank y'all for having us here. And
Sir, you're gonna have to speak up a little bit, he can't hear very well.
sorry about that. All right, yeah. I'll be glad to speak up. Thank you. Can y'all hear all right?
Let me just tell you something, sir. I got about a $5,000 set of hearing aids in my ear, and if I can't hear, I can turn it up.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. So I know, so we're Texas County District Retirement System. We provide the retirement benefits that y'all provide for your employees. And so just regarding the benefit that your employees are working on, of course, each of your benefits are pre-funded throughout an employee's career. Your employees are contributing 7% of their pay into TCS into their own account, and it's earning 7% compound interest each year. At the time someone retires, your employee account balance will be matched at $1.50 per dollar. You all set that. So your matching rate at retirement is 150% or $1.50 from the employer for every dollar that the employee has in their account. The average There's a little bit of demographic studies that was done for Freestone County. The average employee here is 51 years of age and works an average career of 9 years of TCDR service. At retirement, the average retiree retires 62 years of age with 15 years of service. An average annual benefit for Freestone County retirees, $18,600 per year. Now, of course, once a retiree retires, that benefit is fixed. It's a fixed benefit for life at retirement. And so they'll earn that, or they receive that retirement benefit for the rest of their life. The only way that benefit would increase is if a cost of living adjustment is passed. Okay, so some of our counties do provide cost of living adjustments periodically, some don't. That's up to each and individual employer. And so there's two types of COLAs, or cost of living adjustments. There's flat rate COLAs and there's CPI-based COLAs. A flat rate COLA is anywhere from 1%, 2%, or 3%. And that takes a retiree's benefit flat increase across the board from what it is currently to whatever percentage of that flat rate. There's also a CPI-based COLA. CPI-based takes that retirement benefit and replaces a percentage of their benefit anywhere from 10% up to 100% per the CPI, or the Consumer Price Index. It takes that goes all the way back from when an employee, when a retiree retired. So it replaces that purchasing power. It's not automatic. Again, this is something that's determined on an annual basis. There's two ways to fund a COLA. One way, you can pay for that COLA right up front. Okay, so it's just an additional contribution. Pay for it right up front, or you can amortize that COLA over a 15-year period. The last time a COLA was passed for Freestone County was a 100% CPI-based COLA back in 2009. And so that was approximately that 15 years ago. So through the pre-funding of that required rate, that has kind of fallen off the pipeline in that funding of the plan. Do y'all have any questions regarding the COLA? If you, I know one of the considerations is a 1% COLA. On the right side of your folder there was a COLA study done to kind of do a couple of comparisons. So regarding the cost of that COLA, if you can see on page 2 of that handout, of that packet there, on the right side of your COLA, on your packet, you can see there are a couple of cost breakdowns regarding the cost of a 1% COLA, which the overall cost of that would be at $229,944. And that would be for a 1% flat rate COLA. And that would give every retiree 1% increase from what their retirement benefit is currently right now.
Which the 1% is what we had originally agreed on in court in July. And so.
Because that's what y'all been talking about.
Right.
You know,
so we wanted to take the comparison to what the other options might look like for actuarial liability before making a decision and signing the documents today. So even if we were to look at a CPI at 10%, it would only, I think it was like 500,000, and we could stretch that out still over a 15-year period. It wouldn't hurt us in comparison to the 229,000 that we were looking at for 1% flat rate. We'd still be in a 90% percentile, I believe it was, for the funded ratio. Could you?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
primary funded ratio.
Yeah.
So that funded ratio, that just means currently right now your plan is funded at 90.6%. Okay, because you remember we're pre-funding benefits. And so right now your funded ratio is at 90.6%. If you were to do a 1% flat rate, a flat rate COLA, your funded ratio would still be at 90.1%, and that just means anything over 80%, you're in really good shape as far as your plan funding. for future benefits. If you were to pass the 10% COLA, that would take your funded ratio down to 89.3%, so just slightly below that 90 percentile. If that's where you're looking to stay, you're looking to stay around that 90 percentile.
What's the value of the 9.4% that we are not funded at right now? If we're at 90.6, what's the value of the 9.4 that is not funded?
The overall unfunded liability.
Mm-hmm.
The unfunded liability currently right now is at is $3,557,385. If you look, there's a sheet, excuse me, in the right side of your packet, a plan comparison sheet. Yes, sir. And that unfunded liability, you can see down there where it says current plan. That's currently.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Currently, no changes. That unfunded actuarial liability is right there at $3,557,385.
And you said as long as our funded ratio was above 80%, that's a good.
It's still a very healthily funded plan, yes, sir.
So there are counties that are not in that good a shape, is what you're saying?
There are some employers, correct. Just very few, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Because remember, we're providing retirement benefits. TCS provides retirement benefits for all 254 counties in the state of Texas, as well as very numerous districts. So almost 960 individual employers, that each employer determines their own plan and benefits for their employees.
Richard, will you address the fact that the 10% CPI COLA will not provide every retiree benefit?
Absolutely. So regarding the CPI-based COLA, not all retirees would receive a benefit because from the last time folks had retired, their income, their benefit was already brought up to the 2009 level, 100% fully funded. Again, when we're looking at the portion of their benefit that would be, or when we apply that 10%, if their purchasing power was already replaced, at least that amount, then passing a 10% COLA wouldn't affect all retirees. Because for some retirees, their purchasing power has already been replaced from that previous COLA that was passed. And then if you wanted to see, I do believe that COLA study does show kind of the number of retirees on page 4. There's some graphs, there are some comparisons of what the benefit, what their monthly benefit was, and if a 1% was applied, as well as a 10% CPI-based COLA was applied, you can see how much that would increase the benefit from year to year for employees.
And you said that we're at the 1% right now from the 2009?
The consideration that was informed was 1%, yes, sir. 1% across the board, yes, sir. Again, coming from a cost perspective, a 1% COLA across the board, the flat rate COLA, that's going to be the least expensive COLA.
This is how I mapped it out from all the things that we've changed over the years since the 80s.
80s? You weren't even born, were you?
Yeah.
So over time, what you're looking at, sir, is our employer history from where the county started, what the plan looked like when the county joined TCRS versus kind of year by year where it's come from to where it is currently. shows the last time a COLA was passed. You can see, it was in 2000. That's the last time a COLA was passed.
So, like the 1%, it would affect the retirees now and forward. And the 10%, any retirees previously, it would catch up to them, correct?
It brings their purchasing power up 10%.
Yes.
That's correct.
So that's really the difference we need to
And
consider.
depending on the, what inflation has done, of course,
Right.
we've seen it
Since
go down to that
2009.
10%, correct, but it's
Yeah.
kind of gone up over the years, and leveled off at every place at the 10% of the consumer price index, what they're out with that.
They retired from 2009 to present, they would get that 10%. So, explaining to Jennifer, anybody that's retired from 2009, a 10% CPI raise would affect anyone from 2009 and present. If we did a flat rate 1%, it's just now, whoever retires now and forward.
As long as they've been retired at least
No.
13%,
Yeah,
as,
it's-
13 months, excuse me, as long as they've been retired 13 months.
Okay.
They would get they would
Yeah.
see a 1%
Okay.
increase.
Okay.
Yeah, any of the cost of living adjustments is for retirees. Currently, you have 133 retirees, and all of those that would be eligible, all of those would get the cost of living. Whether you do a 1% flat rate, which would be 1% for every retiree, would increase their current benefit by 1% permanently. Those that have CPI, we're gonna look at all 133, and we're gonna go back to their first date of retirement, and then we'd catch them up at 10% of the consumer price index. That does exclude retirees from earlier on, in about 2006, then those would get on the benefit. And that's just the percentage that's worked out when we look at that period of time and average inflation over that period of time. But every retiree, regardless of when they retired on the 1% CPI, the 1% flat rate, would get that 1% boost.
Okay, thank you.
Which is what we've already
That's what we've
approved.
already agreed.
And so this, today we're just looking at if we think this 10% CPI could be a better option, or something that we might want to change the decision we've already made for our retirees.
Correct. Our plan documents will reflect that.
So with that being, going with the 1%, which we've approved in court, the difference in that and the CPI 10% is roughly $312,000, and so spread out over 15 years, we're looking at an additional $20,000 per year financial liability to the county that we will have to budget for each and every year. And between now and the end of that 15 years, what are the odds that we would do that again? Or would we be pretty much set for 15 years, or we change it anytime we want to, or?
You can always add an additional, lump sum contribution to
Which we did.
To pay down your liability.
And we did that in this previous
Pay down
budget.
liabilities, that would reduce the length of that organization.
You said it's $20,000.
Or you can pre-fund it all up front.
The difference between what we had decided to do, the 1% flat versus the 10% CPI, would be a $20,817 additional expense out of our budget each year for 50 years. And if I'm looking at it right, if we did that, the difference in what someone would receive would only be about $24 a month per person.
Depending on what the benefit, the amount of the benefit.
That doesn't even hardly compute, does it?
Did you say $24 a month?
$24 a month per person with the amount of retirees and employees we have right now would create a 20,817.
And not all of them can get that, almost 60,000.
Right. If they're prior to 2006. I think so too, because I mean, we're talking about, we're spending everybody's tax money on just a few that's worked for the county. I don't know that it's fair to every taxpayer in the county to do more than that 1% that we've already approved. Yeah. So.
And that wasn't an easy decision, with our budget this year.
I mean, we're looking at, if it was on a ballot and you got 20,000 people that showed up to vote, it might be 19,000, 877 votes over here, the retirees over here. So I think in all fairness to the majority of the taxpayers, the ones who can, in my opinion, where we should stay.
I agree.
I mean, you can go up $24 a month, later on, when it's time to do it again, other than that.
Am I missing anything, or am I looking at it wrong in your opinion?
You're not looking at it wrong. Again, it's, you mentioned the $24, and looking at that study, if someone received whatever 1% of their benefit currently is right now.
We're just looking at average there.
Absolutely. At least on the 1%, not everybody would see a bump up versus on that 10% CPI,
Yeah, I think the 1%
Some might be right.
That's more fair, we're trying, but I mean, that's.
Sure.
That's taxpayers.
Well, and you're considering, with considering again, every single one of our employers consider this, some pass, some don't. So thank y'all for consideration and the benefit that you do provide for your retirees and employees.
Thank you for that. Very
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Do you have any more questions? All right, thank you.
Yeah, sir, I got a question. I draw 2 retirement checks from the county, so do I get 1% on each check?
Are they both from Freestone County?
Yes, sir.
So by them passing the 1%, you'll see both checks see that increase, yes.
All right, thank you,
So
sir.
they're 2 separate ones.
Thank you.
Yes.
I will get the plan documents together with Richard this morning and it'll sign to submit.
Because we've already approved the 1%, I guess, after this discussion, if there's no more discussion, this will be a no action item on the agenda.
We're not changing anything.
Not changing anything.
Already approved.
Thank you.
No action on item 11. Item number 13 is to discuss and consider possible action salary for the 77th District Court Reporter. I don't think we have any paperwork. I've spoken to both district judges. Limestone County, this was basically because we have someone retiring and their salary's been set for a long time. To obtain someone new, it is going to cost more money. Limestone County commissioners have already voted and agreed on their part. It's a $5,000 additional cost to each county. Again, they approved the $5,000 over there. Our district judges are asking us to approve an additional $5,000 for that court reporting budget.
You gotta have them.
If we were to contract this out and if we use people on a day-by-day basis, it costs us a lot more. So it's the physically smarter thing to do, for sure.
You need a motion on that?
I do.
For 5,000.
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion and a second to add $5,000 to the salary for the 77th District Court Reporter. All in favor, aye? Motion carried. Item number 14 is discuss pre-65 retiree insurance policy and approve the county paid benefits that are offered.
Okay, so we supply our retirees two different policies. There's a pre-65 and a post-65 plan when they retire. And it basically is that we offer them to have medical, dental, vision benefits through the county on their financial responsibility. So I've come up with a policy agreement. When they retire, they will sign this agreement stating this, that we in 2020 voted as a court that they will be offered medical, dental, vision at their expense. So if they're under the age of 65, they do not qualify for Medicare yet. You have to have Medicare or medical benefits of some provider to be eligible for Medicare. If they aren't 65 yet, we offer this to them so they are eligible for Medicare when they are 65. In 2020, we approved just medical, dental, vision. There's a supplemental addendum to this, and it's not defined. We are now with a different broker for insurance benefits. We're not with TAC anymore. So we carry MASA as a supplemental. Basically, that group life basics plan, that drops off. That's not eligible for any employee after they retire. But we have MASA, which is a county paid benefit, and it's not defined in the approved minutes what supplemental benefits are offered. So my dilemma is, do we offer MASA or do we not?
In addition to everything else that we're currently offering,
Right.
the question is do we add MASA to that offering? It would still be at their expense, but it would be at the county's price.
Correct.
But if someone who retired from the county wanted to obtain that benefit, again at their expense, this agreement would allow that.
If they want.
If they want, it's their option.
And it's on my agreement.
There's no cost to us, no cost to the county.
Correct.
Right.
Just a little
It's
more
at
work.
their expense. If they're eligible for the pre-65, they have to have been with the county for 12 years and carry the county benefits already. So it's all stated in the agreement that consecutive 12 years.
No lapse of coverage.
Yeah, no lapse of coverage. So really all I would have to add additionally is that they would be eligible for MASA as well with the medical, dental, and vision.
I think it's a great idea.
And these are the minutes from 2020, 5 years ago.
Got a motion?
And maybe that's
Awesome.
that's what they can carry until
So they're eligible for Medicare
eligible for the county to
at the
pick
age
up
of
on.
65, yes.
Just like the other. Okay, I have a motion and a second for item number 14. All in favor, aye? Motion carried. Item number 15 will be district clerk fees for 2026.
Everyone should have a copy of those fees.
Ma'am.
Anybody has a question?
You like them?
Do I like them? No, I wish there were more.
Is that the same as they've been being?
That's the same as they were last year. Last year they were a little bit different, but you can tell them.
So would you recommend that we,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is, that you accept these?
that we accept
Yes.
these and not try to raise them?
No.
Well,
Well, since there's no change, I'll make a motion to accept these fees for 2026. Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, aye? Motion carried. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. Go to item number 16 to review the maintenance and support agreements with the Justice AV Solutions contract.
This is on our county courtroom audio recorder that we use. From my understanding, this covers the maintenance and stuff. They come once a quarter, check everything. They have a 24/7 helpline. If we have issues, they can troubleshoot it, and if it's something they can't resolve, at that time, they'll send our technician, and it's all wrapped up in this maintenance agreement.
Unless it's an excluded service for the agreement, then it's not.
Yes, yeah.
Is this $3,762, is it the same or more as last year's?
I think it's the same.
If we wanted to check on that, I think we can table this because this does not go into effect until March the 1st of 2026. So we do have time if anybody wants to.
Yeah, I'd like to look at this.
Okay.
We can table this.
Yeah.
Have a motion to table? Second. All in favor, aye? Next will be the interlocal agreement between Freestone County and Comm County, housing or inmates.
Yes. I think the last time we were in here 2 weeks ago, I believe I had 88 inmates. I'm up to 93. And we're going into yet another county, which is Kaufman County. If you don't know where that is, that's going to take a deputy about 3 to 4 hours very easily to be outside this county with inmates. It's a regular contract that we do with everybody else. It's $60 per person per day. And this is going to make about 7 counties that we're having to have agreements with to help us out.
The others just shut you down?
They're full, they get full too. Yep.
Does Kaufman County take any of your mental?
No, hardly any of them will.
So you're basing your mental inmates?
My mental and medicals are staying at home. Nobody else wants our problems. They got their own. It's a tough situation right now. My office is struggling.
Sheriff, have we heard anything from the jail commission as far as the impact study they were looking at?
I have not.
Page 2 on that. Richard Clyde on the 6th page.
I'm not sure how long those things usually take, but I haven't heard a word back.
What about how the ins and outs, is it still the same or is it things taking longer?
No, it's about the same. It's about the same.
I wish there was a way to roll the.
There was a back 2 pages in the report.
Yeah. I gotta do that.
Oh, okay.
So Sheriff, you said there it's $60, is that what it is?
Yes, theirs is set at 60.
It's not bad.
Which I thought was
It's still a long
really
way.
good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's just,
Yes.
just the geography.
Yeah, it's the
Which county
distance.
charges you the most?
Probably Houston County. Houston might be at 80.
You're talking at least a 3-hour turnaround,
At minimum,
and then if they have court that day, and they have to go back to Kaufman County, it's
every day.
6
We have
hours.
to pick, I mean, we're basically turning into a transport agency at this point. We are moving inmates all day long.
I'll make a motion to accept this Kaufman County.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor, aye? Motion carried. Item number 18, discuss and consider possible action on memorandum of understanding between the state of Texas and Freestone County for state of Texas emergency management assistance teams, TMAS. Is our TDM liaison out there?
He was here.
Yeah, they
brought a check. Leonard brought a check. Over here, Leonard brought it.
This should be coming soon.
How often do you hear that?
I did the paperwork last week for it.
And that's a payment check, just so the public doesn't get confused, not a dividend check.
Yeah.
As far as this agreement, guys, anything that y'all want to say for or against? It looks like this just allows us to allow yourself to be deployed to other counties when there are critical situations going on, if they need your assistance. And joining in with this, then if we're in a critical situation, people like yourself from other counties would be able to come help us out. So it is just a...
That's essentially all it is, what they did. There's a list of all the agencies that it blankets over now. Used to, there was an MOU for every individual group that was out there, like Texas Task Force, the IMT through TDM, different things. So that's just a blanket MOU now to cover all of those groups. We can enter that MOU and never deploy, essentially, if we choose not to, or we can deploy and potentially even like the water rescue team in the county, potentially be able to deploy them to help out places, have money that pay for that cost afterwards after reimbursements, 100%. So there would be nothing, essentially, upfront cost would be all out of pocket when you do all the reimbursement paperwork and get 100% of that cost back.
The mutual benefits of this contract for our county as well as anybody else that signs up like we.
Yeah, if we have a major disaster, natural disaster, man-made, anything like that, send a request through TDM and activate that system. That system would come help us, and vice versa. If something is out there, send it, and we could be activated to go help them.
You good with this?
Absolutely.
And it's
Being good neighbors is what it's all about.
That's right. Absolutely.
That's what it's about.
Have a motion for item number 18.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
A motion second, all in favor, aye? Motion carried.